Hello, my friends. Let's dive straight into this week's recap. As we've seen, the Russians were quite active throughout the week, and losses have been substantial. They managed to capture almost 167 square kilometers. Last week, they took around 200 square kilometers. This means Ukraine is silently losing large swathes of territory each week. Russia also continues to shell Ukrainian territory. Last night there were reports of explosions in Dnipro, with additional sightings of Shahed drones in several other regions of Ukraine. There is also news of another drone being found in Moldova. The drone was discovered in a field near the village of Borosene in the Reshkansky district. The area has been cordoned off and specialists are working at the scene. Meanwhile, another drone found in Farladaneka in the Ushansky district has been transported and analyzed by experts from the Technical Forensics and Geological Expertise Center. Preliminary reports indicate it was a Russian Shahed drone without explosives, likely part of a recent night attack on Ukraine. It seems that Russia's unarmed drones are meant to save costs while putting maximum pressure on Ukraine's air defenses. It's also possible that their crash landing in Moldova isn't accidental. They may be testing the reaction, so we'll keep watching how these events unfold. Meanwhile, there has been an announcement that Trump held a phone conversation with Putin regarding the situation in Ukraine. Trump advised Putin not to escalate the situation in Ukraine, reports the Washington Post. Sources familiar with the conversation indicate the presidents discussed peace possibilities in Europe, with Trump expressing interest in further talks to resolve the Ukraine war swiftly. The Ukrainian government was informed of the call and didn't object to the conversation, sources say. Ukrainian officials have long anticipated that Trump would engage with Putin in pursuit of a diplomatic solution for Ukraine. It seems that discussions around Ukraine's situation are gradually taking shape, and more concrete steps might be taken soon. At the same time, despite the possibility that European countries might reduce their support for Ukraine under pressure from Trump, the British admiral has already affirmed that they will continue supporting Ukraine no matter what. The United Kingdom will support Ukraine regardless of the US stance after Trump's election, stated British Admiral Tony Radakin. Russia aimed to subjugate Ukraine, but it will never conquer it. This is something we must keep clear, that we will continue to support President Zelensky and his people in their existential struggle, he emphasized. Now, moving to the Kursk direction. Recent reports indicate that Russia has gathered a force of 50,000 Russian soldiers and around 11,000 Koreans. Most likely, before negotiations begin, they will try to secure this territory to prevent Ukraine from proposing an exchange of the Kursk region for any part of Ukrainian land. Therefore, significant Russian activity is expected here. They have already managed to regain part of the territory, with large scale activity observed twice, allowing them to reclaim several kilometers relatively quickly. However, the front line has remained unchanged for over a week, suggesting ongoing preparations. In the Kharkiv direction, the Russians continue shelling, but as of now, there are no new offensive moves towards Kharkiv. Fighting continues for control over Vovchansk, where the Russians aim to reach at least the water barrier. However, the Ukrainian forces are successfully repelling all attacks, keeping the situation stable. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russian forces are actively attempting to break through to Kucherivka with continued shelling in the area. However, over the past day, there have been no changes to the front line here. In the Borova direction, the Russians are assaulting Zaporizhzhia and Lozova. Shelling continues, though Russian forces haven't made any new gains, and the activity has slightly decreased. Further south, fighting is ongoing for Kharkivka, but the Ukrainian forces continue to repel all attacks, keeping their front line unchanged. In the Kreminna direction, Russian forces are assaulting Novolubivka and attempting to expand their control near the village of Torsk. Shelling remains constant, but there have been no changes in the front line over the past day. In the Siversk direction, the Russians are conducting attacks on Bilohorivka and Verkhnyo-Kamensk, but their activity is minimal with only one assault per day, so they haven't achieved any success here either. In the Chasiv Yar direction, Russian forces are assaulting Stupochki and Bila Hora. Over the past day, they attempted one attack on each settlement, both of which the Ukrainian forces successfully repelled. Currently, there are no new attacks, suggesting the Russians are once again bringing in reinforcements as Ukrainian defenses have significantly exhausted their troops. In the Toretsk direction, reports indicate that Russian forces conducted 9 assaults in the past day. The primary attacks were concentrated around Deliyevka, Toretsk, Sherbinivka, and Nalipivka. Shelling continues and activity remains high in this area, but there have been no changes in the front line. In the Pokrovsk direction, Russian forces continue to assault the village of Promeny, Lysivka, and Grigorivka. Shelling persists, but there have been no changes in the front line over the past day. However, the Russians conducted 39 assaults in the past 24 hours. In the Kurakhove direction, the Russians launched 40 attacks. They are pushing through Ukrainian defenses from all sides, assaulting Novodmitrivka, advancing near Voznesenka, and conducting offensive operations toward Kurakhove from Maximilianivka. Additionally, fighting continues for Antonivka and the outskirts of Katerinivka. Battles are also ongoing for Trudove, with Russian forces attempting to break through the fields towards the village of Suhiali. While no changes have been reported in the past day, the situation here remains dire. A statement by a military official suggesting that fighting for Kurakhove could last for months doesn't fully reflect the current reality. The Russians have significantly stretched the front line both from the north and south. As a result, they may bypass urban combat altogether and attempt to encircle the area. Ukrainian forces also report a difficult situation with a shortage of drones on the front line today. In the area of Velika Novosilka, Russian forces continue shelling, but they haven't made any further progress towards encircling the city. It seems they may be gathering reserves for a major breakthrough. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the Russians continue attacks on Novoandriivka, but there was only one attack in the past 24 hours and they have made no progress. And there are also reports of shelling in Malatokmachka, but no new breakthroughs have been made. And it seems that all the claims about a potential major escalation in this direction may be more related to the Vuhledar area where the most significant activity and advances are occurring. So we will have wait to and see. in the Kherson direction. The Russians are continuing their attempts to take control of the gray zone on the islands, with daily reports from the general staff about attacks. The shelling of the right bank continues, but there have been no major changes in this area. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.